Howdy again, everybody. This is Doc from Thorofan coming to you with the name behind the race. And, well, let's face it, there's only one race on everybody's mind this weekend, and that's the big one. The Kentucky Derby, first jewel of the Triple Crown, the Run for the Roses, the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. And I'm not going to go into a lot of history detail. You know, the Derby is researched, to the nth degree, and a lot of people already know the history behind the race. But I obviously, we'll talk just briefly, quickly, about the job that Colonel Matt Winn really did back in the early 1900s promoting this race. A lot of people don't realize that, when the Derby first started out, it really was just the Kentucky Derby. It wasn't a big spectacle, and Churchill Downs and the race were really in danger of folding at that point. And Colonel Winn came in and he really turned that race around, and he, convinced the owners of the Filly Regret to come down and run in the race, and really it was that turned this race around and made it the prominent spectacle that it is today. So for all of you enjoying those mint juleps and the crazy hats and just the entire festivities of Derby Week and Derby Weekend, you have Colonel Matt Winn to thank for it. So remember that. But now, here's probably the part that everybody has been waiting for on bated breath, and that is Doc's Derby Picks. Alright, so had the chance to kind of look through everything, and oh yeah, that's right. Before I give out my picks, the obligatory warning.
The Credit General of the United States warns that following any of Doc's horse racing picks may be incredibly hazardous to your wagering and financial health.
Alright, well, now we've gone through all the legal mumbo-jumbo. So, I've had a chance to really examine this Derby up and down. I'll be honest, it's what I call a dartboard Derby. You could throw a dart and have it hit any of the contenders, and they might legitimately have a shot. Who knows? We've got maidens winning prep races, a different horse winning every single prep race. This year it's really, really wide open in my mind. But obviously, you've got to eventually settle, put your money where your mouth is, and pick one horse. And for me, after looking at everything, my top Derby pick is McCracken. I've kind of looked him over. He had a great work, in my opinion, recently over the Churchill Strip. He loves Churchill Downs. It's kind of his home court, if you would say. He won his maiden race at Churchill Downs almost exactly a year ago, and over an off-track, and we are expected to potentially have an off-track on Derby Day. So all of those factors, I think he got a great learning experience in the Bluegrass, having to overcome some traffic trouble, even though he didn't win. And so I think that's going to bode very well for him in the Derby, and I really think he's just going to move forward in leaps and bounds off that Bluegrass. I think that sets him up perfectly. I also really love Irish War Cry. I think his Wood Memorial was a great race, even though it wasn't good on the time scale of things. I think he could be potentially sitting on a really big one, and really what better story out there is there than Reggie Mirage coming back from that injury and potentially getting a Derby winner. So those are really my top two. It's hard to separate those two. If you're looking further down the Superfecta to finish out my top four, I do like Battle of Midway a little bit, as somebody to come in and maybe fill out the Trifecta or the Superfecta. I think he's going to run a lot better than he did in the Derby. Or the Santa Anita Derby, that is. I don't think he's going to be as keyed up and right on the lead. That was a very odd running style for him, in my opinion, and I think he is going to definitely improve off of that. And for fourth, I'm leaning towards Classic Empire. I think he's a very talented colt. I really just don't know if he can get the distance, in this Derby, especially with a 20-horse field, but I could be proved wrong. So those are your top four right there. McCracken, Irish War Cry, Battle of Midway, and Classic Empire. Those are my top four. Now, for my long shot pick, who I think might have a shot to really win it all, although it would be a bombs away on the board, is Patch. And there's really kind of like some sentimental hunch reasons that I'm picking him as my long shot play. And first off, me being in the animal welfare field, humane society field, animal shelter field, we love things with one eye. It's just something that, we're drawn to. It's in the shelter world, we see a lot of animals with one eye, and unfortunately sometimes we have to remove an eye for medical reasons, so Patch just kind of fits in definitely with all the work that I've done, so I just love him for that reason. I also happen to really love and admire both the actual Doctor and the movie Patch Adams. I think the actual Doctor has done amazing things in the human med field, and of course Robin Williams, what can you say? Wonderful man, gone far too soon, just portrayed him absolutely perfectly in that movie. So that's my long shot play. Patch, he may actually make some more noise further down. I'm hoping that, he may just not quite be ready for the Derby, but we'll see. It's going to be a great race. I hope everybody who is out there just really gets to enjoy it. If you're at Churchill Downs and getting to enjoy it, God, I envy you. But if you're going to be watching it at another track, at a simulcast facility, at your own derby party, at home, anywhere, I really hope everybody enjoys it. I hope all the horses have a really good, safe trip and a clean trip, so we have a clean derby. And that's about going to do it for this week's segment. If you do have a race that you're wondering about the name of, feel free to drop us a line here at Thorofan, and I'll be happy to research it for you. You never know. It may end up on a future segment. I'm Doc for Thorofan. Have a wonderful derby, and we will see you next time on The Name Behind the Race.
If you're an incredibly passionate thoroughbred racing fan and want to find a whole bunch of people that are just like you, why not check out Thorofan at Thorofan.com. Sign up to become a member, get our amazing weekly newsletter, and learn everything and anything there is to know about this amazing sport we call thoroughbred horse racing. Thorofan, giving the fans a voice.